Sage Vyagrapada lived a life of severe asceticism, leaving his family in extreme poverty. His young son, Upamanyu, had once tasted real cow's milk at his uncle's house, and the memory of that rich flavor haunted him. Unable to afford a single cow, his desperate mother resorted to a heartbreaking trick. She mixed coarse rice flour into water, swirling it together to create a pale, milky paste, and handed it to her crying child. The moment it touched his tongue, Upamanyu instantly knew. He tasted the bitter, gritty water, realized the cruel deception, and collapsed into tears of despair. Seeing her son weeping, his mother didn't offer empty comfort. She delivered the blunt reality of their destitution, telling him they were simply too poor to afford even a drop of real milk. Then she gave him a strict command. She told him to stop crying over what they lacked and instead seek out the ultimate provider, Lord Shiva. She explained that Shiva is the master of the three worlds, and without his grace, nothing is obtained. The mother's words offered no pity, only a path. Upamanyu stopped looking at the clay bowl and started looking toward the mountains, turning the weight of his grief into the momentum required to leave his home. Upamanyu left his home immediately and walked into the brutal, freezing isolation of the Himalayas. Here was a small, fragile child subjecting himself to extreme asceticism. He stopped eating, surviving strictly on cold mountain air and whatever dry leaves fell around him. Through the freezing winds, his mind locked on to a single, unbroken rhythm. He continuously chanted the core 5-syllable mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. A devotion this pure acts as a beacon. Far above the snow and wind, the seats of the gods began to tremble under the weight of a child's focus, drawing their eyes down to the frozen slopes. By discarding the necessity of food, the necessity of warmth, and even his own name, Upamanyu left no room for anything but Shiva. In the absolute silence of the peaks, he had become a vessel for a single sound. The silence of the mountains was violently interrupted. Indra, the king of heaven, descended on his massive elephant, projecting overwhelming authority into the boy's path. Indra looked down at the starving child and offered him a direct shortcut. He promised to instantly grant any worldly wealth or comfort he desired, immediately solving his poverty. But the offer contained a psychological trap. Indra conditioned the reward by viciously insulting Lord Shiva, mocking the deity as a graveyard-dwelling beggar. Upamanyu's reaction was instantaneous. He entirely rejected the bribe, refusing to entertain a single word of disrespect. The boy picked up a handful of ash and invoked the Agahorastra.
The Agorastra is a devastatingly powerful weapon from Hindu mythology, capable of causing mass destruction. Upamanyu prepared to hurl it, ready to destroy the king of heaven or sacrifice his own life to defend Shiva's honor. The gods do not construct these tests to break a devotee. They execute them to prove that a person's ultimate loyalty cannot be bought, manipulated, or diluted by those in positions of authority. As the deadly weapon began to glow, the tension snapped, the illusion shattered, and the king of heaven dropped his deceptive disguise. Standing before the boy were Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati, appearing together in their magnificent divine forms. Shiva moved immediately. He neutralized the destructive energy of the Agorastra weapon, reached down and pulled the fiercely loyal child into a compassionate embrace. Looking at the emaciated boy, Shiva acknowledged the paradox of the situation. Upamanyu had endured near-fatal starvation and freezing temperatures, all initiated by the simple desire for a single bowl of milk. So Shiva responded with astronomical scale. He didn't give the boy a cow. He granted Upamanyu the Kshirasagara, the infinite cosmic ocean of milk, along with the gift of immortality. The Kshirasagara is the mythological ocean of milk, from which the nectar of immortality was churned in Hindu cosmology. Then Shiva made a final declaration. He elevated the boy from a starving, isolated outcast to his eternally adopted son. When the world offers you compromises, shortcuts, or watered-down rice paste, An unwavering refusal to settle is the exact mechanism that transforms absolute deprivation into an infinite reward. If you want to decode the cosmic origins of the Jyotirlingas, the sacred radiant representations of Shiva, or the divine mechanics behind the marriage of Shiva and Parvati in our next episode, let us know in the comments below.